We commence today's conference, we kindly request you to keep your mobile phones on silent mode and help us maintain a respectful and attentive atmosphere throughout the session. A very good morning to one and all present here.
I am Pradyumna.
And I am Disha.
In a world that is changing faster than ever, innovation is no longer optional, it is essential.
Continuing the spirit of meaningful dialogue and discovery, we now step into the second day of this remarkable academic gathering.
It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to Day 2 of the Student International Conference 2026, proudly hosted at Jain Deemed to be University Center for Management Studies by the SRDC.
We welcome Shri Ravindra Bhandari, Vice President, JGI Group.
We extend a warm welcome to our Principal Officer, Associate Head, HODs, distinguished faculty members, industry experts, research scholars, and participants.
We are delighted to share that this conference has received an overwhelming response with 550 registrations and more than 70% external registration submitted through both online and offline modes.
We are pleased to announce that selected research papers from this conference will be considered for publication in a peer-reviewed journal with an ISSN number, further enhancing the academic value of this conference.
Today marks not merely the conclusion of a conference, but the culmination of ideas, insights, and intellectual synergy that will help shape resilient and responsible futures.
The conversations we have shared, the research we have showcased, and the partnerships we have envisioned stand as a testament to our collective commitment to building a future that is ethical, inclusive, and future-ready.
I would now like to call upon Ms. Vaishnavi, co-convener of Student International Conference and mentor of Student Research Development Cell, Center for Management Studies, to address the gathering.
Good morning, one and all present here. At the outset, on behalf of Center for Management Studies, Student Research Development Cell Vidyanidhi, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the leadership of Jain Deemed to be University for their constant encouragement and support in making this event conference possible. I would also like to place on record our deep gratitude to Dr. Chenraj Roychan, Chancellor of Jain Deemed to be University, for his visionary leadership and commitment towards building a culture of excellence, innovation, and global engagement in higher education. At the same time, we sincerely thank Professor Dr. Nilesh Neelkant, Pro Vice Chancellor of Jain Deemed to be University and Director CMS, whose constant encouragement and academic leadership has been instrumental in promoting research and intellectual inquiry among students and faculties. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, in charge Vice Chancellor and Registrar in his absentia. We are equally grateful to Sri Ravindra Bhandari, Vice President JJI Group, for graciously joining us today and supporting this important academic initiative. Our sincere appreciation also goes to Dr. Shraddha Kanwar, Chief Academic Officer, for her guidance and commitment in strengthening the academic and research ecosystem within the university. Our sincere appreciation also goes to Dr. Krishna Kopa, Deputy Director, Faculty of Management Studies, for his guidance. Yesterday marked a remarkable beginning for this conference as it was inaugurated in the presence of our distinguished university leadership and eminent industry experts. This insightful address highlighted the transformative role of artificial intelligence in shaping the future of economic governance and global strategy. I'm delightful to share the conference has received an overwhelming response with more than 550 registrations from international, Australia, England, and across India from different states like Delhi, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Telangana, bringing together students, researchers, academicians, and industry professionals from diverse institutions and disciplines. As we begin the second day of this conference, we look forward to an engaging lineup of sessions, including an insightful panel discussion on AI and the new work order, innovation, sustainability, and strategy, followed by the valedictory session and recognition of outstanding research contributions. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished guests, speaker for today, faculty members, and my dear participants and student community. Your presence and active participation make this conference meaningful and impactful. Personally, I feel this conference not just about we are here, we are learning a lot of things, whatever our profound people are putting across their thought process and being engaging with all of us in all our ideas. It's really where we have to be thankful and grateful for their insights, which all of us need to learn something from them. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ma, for your insightful words.
Our next speaker is a visionary leader whose contribution to the education and institutional growth have been truly transformative.
It is my honor to invite Sri Ravindra Bhandari, Vice President of the JGI Group.
Sir has decades of experience in institutional leadership and strategic development. He has played a pivotal role in expanding the group's academic footprint and strengthening its reputation for excellence.
His forward-looking approach has enabled the integration of innovative governance models, quality assurance practices, and student-centric policies across institutions.
He has consistently upheld value-based education, ensuring that academic growth is complemented by ethical leadership, social responsibility, and global citizenship.
Sir's leadership philosophy bridges strategic governance with academic empowerment, a rare and a powerful combination.
By fostering industry partnerships, encouraging research-driven initiatives, and promoting holistic student development, he has helped create dynamic learning environments that prepare students to excel in an increasingly complex and competitive world.
Sir, we request you to share your valuable insights with us.
Respected eminent speakers of the day, all my faculty colleagues, dearest students. Good morning to all of you. I can understand this is the second day, but that energy is still. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Very good, thank you. I'm extremely thankful to both Sunita Madam as well as Lakshman ji for having invited me for the second day of the conference. In fact, today I was totally busy. I had a lot of other engagements. But when Madam said that it is a conference, international conference arranged by the students, SRDC, so then I thought that I should attend it. My conscience did not permit, without attending this conference, to go to other engagements. The reason is that I always think that for any education institution, students are the first priority, of course, followed by next faculty, then the management. So I think that may be the reason why I am here for this second day conference. Let me appreciate the efforts of SRDC for having arranged this international conference. Yeah, big round of applause. It is on sustainable innovation in business, then integration of academic, industry, and AI. You know that in Jain University, we are ahead in integrating the industry and the academy. We have almost close to 150 MOUs with industry, and almost all our courses are integrated with the industry. The reason is that we strongly believe that when our students passed out from the college, they will be ready to take any task or the challenge of 2021 or 21st century. So with that, this one, we have a very strong collaboration between industry and the academics. You know that this is the collaboration which can bridge the gap between the theory and practical. The university, they are the academia that use the theoretical knowledge, research rigor, and it facilitates their creativity and creative thinking also. Whereas industry brings the practical experience, real world issues and problems, and if both put together, there will be a holistic development of the students. That is why industry and academia are both complement to each other and also supplement to each other, for the reason that you know that in the curriculum we include the skills requirement of the industries in the curriculum, maybe including the guest lectures or the industry visits, and they are the people who can give the internship for the students. With that, you know, both theory and practical will go together. See, today, not only acquiring knowledge, application of the knowledge is also equally important. You know that the world is, as earlier they have told, that world is changing very fast. And innovation and technology are in the driver's seat. They are the growth engine today. And in the industries, how technology is playing, I think all of us know. It has entered all the fields, including the industry also. For example, for the growth of the industries, they require new products. And new products comes from innovation. Innovation comes from the ideas. And these ideas generate from either research centers or from university. To do the research or the to do the research, the equipments or whatever the expertise is required, that has to come from the industry. So that is how both are related to each other. So this is how the collaboration should happen. Then one more interesting, in today's this one, in every conference, in every workshop meeting, the first point comes is the AI, artificial intelligence. I have a question to all the students present here. Whether AI is a teaching aid? Yes or no? Huh? Yes or no? Acha, doubt. Whether is it a co-teacher? Yes or no? Someone is shaking their head. I don't know whether this side or this side. Huh? Whether it is an disruptor? Huh? Disruptor or not? I will say all the three. A is a teaching aid because you know that lot of presentations, real world experience, or experiential learning, which AI can bring into the class. It is the change maker in the classroom. So that means it is a teaching aid. Then I asked one more question, whether it is a co-teacher. Whether AI can replace the teacher. No, madam. 110%, yes. They cannot replace the teacher. It can be a co-teacher. Any guidance, any help, any support, that has to be given by teacher only. So it is a co-teacher, I can say. And it's a disruptor, if you take it positively. That is, you might have seen the classroom, changes in the classroom. The classroom, old classrooms and the today's smart classrooms. Right? So it is a disruptor in the positive sense. In the negative sense, all of you know that when a homework is given or an assignment is given, I hope you are not doing it. Most of the students, what they do is they copy it from the chat GPT. Am I right? Correct, you know? Then if you are not using it in the purpose which is required, then it will be a disruptor, negative disruptor, because that will stop the students to think, to analyze. So it is going to be disruptor. So it is a co-teacher, it is a teaching aid, and it is a disruptor also. That is how the AI is going to happen. And whether it is a generative AI, whether it is a agentic AI, or any AI you see, it is going to play these three roles. So very good topic has been selected and which is very relevant. Today we have very eminent speakers in the panel. I have seen the profile of the speakers also. I think I must appreciate the SRDC for having invited such an eminent speakers for this conference. There will be a lot of takeaway. There will be a lot of takeaway from this conference. So my best wishes to all the students and the participants. Please make the best use of this conference and all the best. God bless all of you. Thank you. Thank you for your patience here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that powerful perspective on leadership, sustainability, and institutional growth.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue day 2 of Student International Conference, we arrive at a highly anticipated segment of our morning program.
Throughout this conference, we have been examining the profound impacts of AI and the New World Order, innovation, sustainability, and strategy in a disrupted global landscape.
To delve deeper into how these elements intersect and shape our future, we are now moving into a dedicated panel discussion titled exactly AI and the New World Order, Innovation, Sustainability, and Strategy.
We are privileged to have a distinguished group of thought leaders joining us to unpack this complex and timely subject. I would now like to invite our esteemed panelists on stage in no particular order. Mr. Chinmay Anand. He is a distinguished financial educator, business storyteller, TEDx speaker, and an author with extensive global experience in business finance education.
Since 2014, he has trained and consulted over 15,000 business owners and non-financial managers across the world on the subject of business finance.
His finance programs are taught to MBA students at leading international institutions, including the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, Torrens University, Australia, the University of New England, and the Kennedy University of Leadership of New England.
He has also served as the National Treasurer of Professional Speakers Australia from 2018 to 2021 and actively works with startups and family businesses for investments and strategic consulting.
In addition, he is the founder of the YGB Club and the author of 2 books, Fundamentals of Financial Statement and The Bottom Line.
Mr. Mohammad Omar, an alumnus of Center for Management Studies, Jain Deemed University, currently serves as a customer relationship manager at Prestige Group in Bengaluru.
With over a decade of diverse corporate experience across real estate, relocation service, and global retail, he specializes in stakeholder communication and enhancing long-term client experiences.
Drawing from his extensive background, including international and corporate exposure at Tesco, and his passion for competitive motorsports, Mr. Omar champions discipline, innovation, and adaptability in modern industries.
He offers a unique customer-centric perspective on how technology and sustainability are shaping the future of urban living, while actively encouraging young professionals to thrive in today's rapidly evolving AI-driven landscape.
Mr. Naveen Lakkar is an international innovation coach and a serial entrepreneur turned into innovation catalyst.
With a professional career spanning over 25 years in the industry worldwide, he is deeply passionate about inspiring enterprises and entrepreneurs to innovate and grow in the right direction.
Through his innovative initiatives, he has served as a catalyst for over 500 ideas, successfully helping them transition into commercial realities.
Dedicated to building robust innovation cultures within organizations, Mr. Lucker has delivered impactful training programs utilized by renowned corporate divisions including Dell R&D, Mercedes Research and Development, Standard Chartered Bank, TCS, Sony, Dalmar Innovation Center, India, and NIIT.
He firmly believes that new age leadership is driven by innovation, entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship, and he is deeply committed to nurturing these qualities in others.
Through his talks, training programs, and workshops, he has shared his practical knowledge of nurturing ideas inspiring over 1 lakh professionals and students.
Alongside his active engagement with the industry, Mr. Lucker is an accomplished author of internationally recognized books and possesses a great love for telling business stories.
I would now like to call upon our moderator, Mr. Hamza Seth, a dedicated member of the Student Research and Development Cell at the Center for Management Studies, to kindly join us on the stage.
You want me to hold this? Who's planning? Okay. Every generation believes they are entering the future, but our generation might be the first one where the future is being built not only by humans but also with alongside machines. So, so most of the students over here, I think the biggest question about AI is central for us. Will this technology create more opportunities for our generations, or quietly eliminate some of them, some of the paths that we are planning to some of the paths that we are preparing for today? Or I'd like to hear each of your perspective on this. So, yes, please.
So the industry where we come from, basically, I can say AI has driven the model quite a bit. But when you say, can you hear me? Is my voice audible? Yeah. So when you ask, will it replace human resource? Maybe in our kind of industry, it may not be possible. It will enhance the business model because we deliver living spaces for people to live, to have a better lifestyle, better working spaces. So a human touch is required in that. But there may be some industries which are evolving where AI may take over. So it's quite a perspective from which side you look. Maybe the panelists will be better to judge on this.
What's your take on this, Naveen sir? I'm so sorry.
Good morning, everyone. Namaste. you mentioned about future, all the generation is thinking what's going to happen and things like that. Now, back in 1999, the president of Futurist Association, he said the future is here. The future is here, but it is not evenly distributed. So for many people, if we go to remote places, they've got absolutely no idea what AI is. And they don't even care at that particular point in time with their ignorance of things like that. Now, with the question that you have been asking with the future and humans and technology and things like that, it reminds me back in, I think it was 1996, there was an experiment done in the game of chess. The world's best player, Gary Kasparov, he was made to play against a computer, which was built by IBM. And if I'm not wrong, that computer could process like 200,000 moves within a minute. And here is a human being, world's best chess player, playing against a computer. So the whole world was like, is this the time when the computer is going to surpass human intelligence? And guess what? The computer won. And people are like, oh, I think we are done. Human beings probably will get extinct very soon. And then Gary did something interesting. He said, I would like to have one more game where I'll be playing against a computer, but alongside, I'll also use a computer. And he won. So the kind of moral of the story is the future is not human versus machine or AI, it is human and AI. And another interesting thing was to amateurs who played against the computer with computer, they won. So today it's all about, do you want to go out there with just your intelligence or do you want to embrace technology, adapt? And again, it all comes down to what Darwin said, right? It is never the fastest or the strongest of the species, and the species that adapts. So we have to adapt, we have to move on, as simple as that.
Good morning to everyone. Nice question. All right, and wonderful answer, and the way the adoption is, right? So let me take the cue from what you said on you are in the industry and the real estate industry, and you don't know what is going to be happening. You wanted that to be passed to us to respond, right? No, so well, he knows that's what, yeah, perspective. And I'm taking the cue from there because recently I was there part of a program, which is an event organized by Pedalai. Okay. And also the combination was there was one other startup which is into the scaling mode using AI for the space optimization, right? And we were just wondering, so this is an application area in the real estate. How is real estate going to go? No, it's going to be there. And is it who is the real estate for? Definitely not just for the machines, it's for the people, right? And the GCCs, the number of companies and the square feet which are going to be added into in Bangalore and the other parts of the cities, the tier 1 cities and the tier 2 cities also now is what it presented. So it was very interesting. So good news was that real estate is growing, right? So, and a lot of international companies wanting to be operating from India. You know why? Any clue why? Because they believe that you are there. The youth is here, right? And young minds are there. And you're going to be bringing the change the world needs. But with these 3 pillars, innovation, sustainability, and strategy, right? That is what they're expecting. A lot of real estate space. And I was very keen to see when this other guy, tech guy, who did a startup, and he was not a tech guy, but their technology was all about AI in the large company, right? Now with the changing dynamics, it'll help you to plan your day, book the space that you're going to be sitting and working, and based on, and AI will also recommend based on, what is the occasion, whom you're meeting, what is the objective of the meeting. All of these also it will consider and give you some recommendations too. And also, come prepared and the place is reserved. Real estate is expensive. So how do you optimize it? So this is where behind the scene, how the AI is used in the real estate. Rather than eliminating, it is all about accelerating and catalyzing. Yeah, absolutely. And the experience also, right? So ultimately, it's just when he was presenting and when I was coming in, how many of you know this little, not little, a character by name Gatotkaja in the Mahabharata, right? So yeah, the AI is like the Gatotkaja. Yeah, I leave the rest for you to think, right? And there are many of those aspects, the qualities. He is from the family of demons, but then he's got what made a difference is the values, right? And his action was all relating to sustainability, right? The whole strategy, the way he participated and the whole way that he was enrolled into the team, which side he was in also mattered, right? So AI is that Gatotkaja with huge power, unimaginable power, right? And it sounds and seems like magical.
That's
But-
a beautiful approach, sir.
Yeah, so that's the way I'm seeing it, and where all three are going to be applicable, including in the fields that we think. The real estate is one example where it is meant for the humans, and how the AI could enhance your experience.
That's actually a beautiful approach, sir. Naveen, sir, but as an innovation coach, I have a question on the same lines as you said.
Yes.
The line that you said that I think Featherlight, the company, is using AI to optimize spaces in real estate industry. So, do you believe that we are building a world where humans are just a support staff for innovative machines?
Good question. So in fact, today, when your vice president was he set the stage based on few of the topics that I talk and write and teach. It's based on my book, Inseparable Twins, right? So knowledge and application are one of those pair principles that he was mentioning about. And I was the chief guest for Collins Aerospace for their Innovation Week event, which was happening. So they asked me this question on, one of the participants asked that question. So are we going to be like, following exactly what you meant, right? Or what is going to happen? So very simple to me, tapping into this title of Inseparable Twins, the man and the machine. Here, women also is a superset, right? So we are inseparable twins. We need to be. And he said that, right? It's up to you. Are you going to be taking this against that versus this and that with, right? So the man and the machine are going to be inseparable twins. But the question is this: who's going to be in the front, right? Is your strategy, if your strategy and innovation leads towards you being in the front, using that as a tool and getting the things done, if you are the master, it will follow you. But if that is in the front, then high chance that it will be the slave, right? You will be the slave, right? So it's our choice now. And it has to be a strategy. Otherwise, the biggest thing is what your generation, my generation, because I'm one of probably the youngest,
Yes.
right? So the whole idea is that, how do you, it's going to take away the thinking capacity.
Just on those same lines, would you say, as AI is so optimal today and so optimized and gives us amazing outputs on the way of the prompts that we use,
Yes.
AI can generate 1,000 innovative ideas in 1 minute, or let's say about 15 minutes. Will the human innovation coach become obsolete in the next few years?
Okay. So in fact, it's the other way around. There's a big need for this now. So
How would
so
you
that
say that?
so that otherwise humans will stop thinking. So one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing is because of my mentors pushed me to do, saying, boss, go enable innovation and the thinking, right? One of the things that I do as a program that I've designed is out of the box thinking. So if you look at in corporates, it's part of the strategy thing, right? The most used phrase in the corporates is you need to think out of the box during the appraisal time. But nobody says what it means and how. How, no idea, right? And what is the box, right? And so on. So designed a program. This is an international program that I conduct. The more with this AI accelerating and becoming a part of our lives, one thing that it's going to take away is our thinking capabilities, right? And here is the three generations that I've experienced that, when I was in college in engineering, so we had to use these log books to do all the calculations, which we were not allowed to use the calculators, okay? But then they allowed later. And then we started. The moment we started to use, we slowly forgot how to calculate. Mental mathematics dropped down quite a bit, okay? And without the cell phones, earlier we used to remember the number of numbers that we used to remember was quite a bit. If you could recall a number, it was as good as recalling and connecting with that person. The emotion was associated, right? And the birthdays, if you could remember and call and wish or go and wish, it was the emotion which was associated. What technology did, and we were a part of that journeys of building such technologies. And then what happened? I was also part of this computerization. I experienced personally of when banks wanted to implement this, there was dharnas done. Thing is, computerization is going to eliminate all our jobs and banks itself, So, but today, where is the bank? Guess where is the bank? Not out there in the real estate. It's near pocket, right? That's the power of, again, further. Even AI will even tell you what your money is doing and where it should be used. Now the next level, right? The AI, if compute calculator got you to reduce to some extent, is still there, right? And the computers to further extent. The AI is unimaginable power. No comparison to those. So the ability for us to think, analyze, use our brain is going to come down. And it can enhance, it's your choice, how you're going to be using it, right? So this is where I think the need for my mentors told me was the more the need for innovation coach now, so that we need to think, we need to learn how to think. And otherwise thinking itself has become a specialty now, right? And because we did an experiment with the youth, the career choices of what you need to be doing is already set by AI. And most of the youth are interested in knowing what the AI says and not what the teacher would say. That doesn't mean that, AI is bad. Doesn't also mean that teacher knows everything, right? You are so blessed that, it could be a strategy where you know how to use both, right? The teacher and the AI,
What I
right?
can get from this is you're pushing us not only to depend on AI, but use AI as a tool to I think make us better and make us excel in our careers, if I'm not wrong, sir.
Yes, it's your
that what-
choice.
So to add up to what Naveen sir said, a lot of insight, a lot of learning. Aren't you all technology driven nowadays? But haven't you all aspired to use the best mobile? Have you all come across a band called DAY-2? Anybody here in this room? DAY-2 Luxury. So in this day and in this time of an AI driven generation, what is the USP selling point of this product or this mobile? Have you all, anybody of you all heard? It's something much more superior than Apple also. What is the USP of this product?
Please,
Luxury. But what is the USP? The human touch. So the money you're paying is not for the operating system, not for the GB, not for the RAM. You get a personal butler wherever you are in the globe. So you want to have a dinner, you want to go for a date with your girlfriend, you just press a button. Anywhere you're on the globe, the butler thing. So these are few of the sectors the youth today have to, think, innovate, as Sir told, and as Chinmay Sir told. It's not going to be, man versus machine. It's going to be man and machine together. So this is a classic transformation. So if you take the evolution of the Virtu phone, it has embedded the touch screen, the Android, but has kept the human touch as the USP. And I think all of you all use here food delivery apps, Swiggy, Zomato. Has there been points where your food order has gone wrong, like order not delivered? Some vegetarian has ordered maybe a veg palav, got a chicken item, or maybe you got charged twice, and it's so AI driven. It's happened on a personal touch that you're just not able to get in touch with a human agent to understand your problem. So I saw this in the news also recently, where a person on Reddit put across a thing that I'm just not able to get a resolution because AI has a limitation. So like Chinmay sir said, it's man and machine. So as also Naveen sir said, banking is your fingertips. I have a thing where I experiment with a lot of different banking apps. Let it be like HDFC, let it be a nationalized banks. So the frustration level with some of these, if it's only AI driven and there is no human touch, you get stuck at many given points. Our teachers would, agree to this. That rapport, what you would have with your teacher, no matter you pay for a premium AI subscription or whatever it is, but that insight what the teacher will give you of a real world, AI will not give you. This is my personal experience because I am also an alumni of CMS. So it's just not book knowledge, it has to be street knowledge. So I just give a personal thing, be AI driven, but be in touch with the real world and take the blessings of your teachers. It's such a Gen Z era where we think we know everything and technology knows everything, but the blessings of your teachers can be greater than this. That's beautiful.
I think a round of applause to our teachers for even helping us organize this event also. That I think we should give a big round of applause again to all our teachers. And thank you so much for our themselves, especially the Directors, for allowing us to host such a beautiful event.
Is examination around the corner?
Yeah. Moving on to Umar sir, as you said about interaction through AI, and we should be AI driven and not AI dependent. When it comes to customer relationships, so I have a question on those lines. Customers are making the biggest financial decision when it comes to your sector, real estate. They are making a decision which they're making a life-changing decision, right? So AI can now predict customer behavior, analyze buying patterns, personalize experiences, and as Sir said, help optimize the spaces. In a future where machines understand customers' perspective better than humans, what role will a human relationship still play in an industry like real estate?
In my years of experience, because I'm from the more residential sector, uh, because most of the people buying a home would be a first-time home buyer, would be a dream home. You know who is the deciding factor in buying the house? Take a guess. The ladies of the house. Because the men are usually out about working, earning. So the homemaker or the ladies are the biggest choice. So as I'd emphasized earlier, now when you ask me the question, will AI think it has to be a balance? Because AI would intercept some needs and some thought patterns, but without the human interface, the real estate cannot evolve. Because what maybe one family would like, the other family would not like. You understanding it? And it could be a same project. So it needs to have an evolution and a balance of AI and human touch. So I'll give you an example. The company I come from, It's called Prestige. I think all of you all have mobiles, right? So just open your browsers and just open my www.prestigeconstructions.com. Then you get a drop down of all the projects. You click on to any one of the projects and just a general thing, just download a brochure and guess the next thing what happens.
The customer team calls you.
Exactly. So this is the implementation of AI and human interface. Now, you would ask me why the customer relationship manager needs to call, whereas why the AI couldn't do the same thing, because it's a chatbot. Like Chinmay sir said, it's not man versus machine like the chess game, which he gave a classic example. It needs a counterpart of the machine binary and a human brain and the thought, emotions. AI could drive thought process, but emotion is human end of the day.
That's true, sir. So on the same line of customer interaction and AI being enabled to I think get the data of the customer, or let's say I'm sure when you have the past data of your customer and the pattern of his buying and the pattern of his spends, you can analyze better. But with that, brain privacy concerns. With AI, we have to be very careful about our privacy concerns also. So brain privacy concerns rising is using in using AI to track customer emotions and sentiment. Is it just manipulation in simple terms? Would you say that?
I wouldn't say it's manipulation, because what I feel spending is something to do with your psychology also. So the counterpart of technology, see, data privacy is quite important, but I think with all of us having Googles on our phone, our data is no more protected. Okay, so your location is being tracked. A lot of your interaction is also being. How many of you all use Amazon Echo, Google Home at home? All your conversations at home is also taken also at the back end, and there's an algorithm of your social media. You see 1, 2 reels, and then it picks up, and then it shows you on the same similar pattern. So the data privacy is one part of it, but when it comes to customer relationship, it has to be a balance of both. So it's industry and industry, because it's something not you're just going, not buying a bottle of water off the shelf. It's a life-changing decision for quite a number of people. What would you say, sir? Buying a home is a life-changing, right? For a couple of people.
Oh, I think it's for most of the people,
Most of the people.
depending on the kind of emotional attachment that they have given to that particular decision. Now, what I feel is all of us at some stage, we have been influenced in many aspects. Now, recently I moved to Tata Promod, mainly because I wanted my daughters to play in an environment where I don't have to hold their hand and saying there's a vehicle here, there's a thing. So from independent house, this was the first time I went to an apartment. And obviously my wife is the decision maker. We went and looked at all the things. She said, oh, this is south facing, this is this, this is that. And Tata Promod is like, the whole tower is south facing. Then we went and asked the Vastu consultant. They said, see, the entrance is one. The moment you take the lift, it is another entrance. This is so Vastu is kind of applicable only for 2 floors. You have the 20th floor, so forget it. Okay. So I was in Australia. I don't even know which direction the houses were. I lived in 4-5 suburbs. So the point I'm trying to make here is it's all about how much importance you give for a particular thing. Now, will AI help in making us anxious, saying that if you have got a house facing in this is what is going to happen. Here is someone who changed the door and this is what happened. I might get influenced with that thing that I'm scrolling. So probably again it is bombarding that message again and again and again and again and again, and we're like, oh yes, I'm missing out something. Something is going to happen. I'm part of a spiritual organization. In the month of April, first week of April, we are organizing a huge event and we're expecting few thousands of people. Obviously, cooking has to be done. Now, the president sitting here in Bangalore, he is 70 plus. He sends a message. We have to have a general body meeting immediately. What if we don't get the gas cylinders on time? Should we postpone all of this? I said, sir, are you watching too much of news? Oh, yeah, it's in the news. Now, please stop it. Everything will be all right. Because the way they project, and again, this is all driven, and we're all getting influenced. What if this happens? What if that happens? Now, the question is how much is too much, and how do you go about making that decision? Because you mentioned about dating. Well, I have got one wife, two daughters, so that is out of picture. But if at all I had to date today, I will always prefer human stupidity over artificial intelligence.
Sir, as Umar sir said in his line about finances being involved, I think as you are the financial storyteller, let's move on to you. So, as a financial storyteller who has seen businesses fail and in fact having openly talk about learnings from six failed businesses, which is a rare honesty when it comes to entrepreneurship. If AI tools existed when you were planning your ventures, would you say with the help of how AI can predict markets, predict risks in the market, and analyze the current trends, would you say it would have taken a different turn?
I would definitely say yes, but however, would it have prevented me from failing? I'm not sure. So let me give you this perspective because we touched upon real estate. Imagine Jain University says, oh, we need to have an auditorium in this campus. And we figure out where are we going to have it. Okay, here is 1,000 square feet place. Usually what we do, we try to get in touch with our contacts or vendors who are already been part of JNU, we reach out to them. Now, those architects, with their intelligence, they would say, I've done 100 projects, 1,000 projects, I've done it with this university. So with their thinking, they will say, this is how the auditorium should be designed. But if I go and prompt any of the AI, it might take data from all around the world and it might say, hey, you can make this an auditorium plus seminar room plus conference room or whatever it is, because it has got the data. Now, if you give a prompt saying, how can I be even more efficient and effective? It might ask a question, why do you want it to have it in the first floor? Why not ground floor? Why not fourth floor? With pros and cons. If you again prompt it and ask, hey, how about some other option? It might say, why do you want to have it in Lalbagh campus? Why can't you have it in different campus? Now, again, it is prompting, it is giving you plan B, plan C, plan D. Now, the question is, which decision am I going to make? If it is to do with the past, in the sense I've got all the data, then yes, I would always go with data because, I mean, AI, it is able to gather all the data and give it to me. When it comes to future, let's face it, no one has seen future. No one has seen tomorrow. So everyone is trying to figure out where it might be. It reminds me of the good old Hollywood movie, Good, Bad, Ugly. He's teaching him how to shoot and he's trying to shoot and he's missing the target and he makes a very profound statement. Don't shoot where the target is, shoot where the target is going to be. And that is predictive data analysis. And that is what everyone is trying to predict. If you are going to ask AI, where is the next big real estate boom going to happen? It will say, here are the top 5, you take the odds. And then suddenly something happens, government announced something, airport is here, that is there, Trump says something. Wow. So much of external factors, which becomes difficult, but eventually somewhere it will narrow down. And definitely, even today, if I have to start a new venture and things like that, I would be prompting and figuring out because it will help me to think otherwise. Like it will help me to tap into the I don't know that I don't.
So with this, as you said, using AI agent to freelance your work at some point. When let's get down to the bottom of freelancing, as you know about the gig economy. So is the gig economy freelancing just a way for companies to avoid paying for human benefits? Would it be the future?
This is going to be very tricky and challenging for a lot of companies moving forward. So I'll probably take a couple of minutes to share this. I remember one of my friend's father, I was in my final year of engineering and his father retired and he worked in the same company for 41 years. 41 years, can you imagine? Same company. And he started his career back in late 1960s. Every day I go to the company, company bus and then he went to the managerial role. So taking a step back, I know I'm making a very generic statement. People who started their career in 60s and 70s, if you look at them, the graph was simply like this, one curve. One qualification, one job, one expertise, one company, and again, one spouse, 2 children, one Maruti car, one home in Bangalore. Life is done. This is success. Tick, 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 tick. It's done. 80s and 90s, it was not just one curve. It was like this. people started to shift different companies, 2, 3 companies. Well, we have ma'am here, Baishaki ma'am, who said she was a science student, then she was in BSCA and then MCA, and she was in software, and she's here. It's happening. Today, it is like this. If someone is working for 3 years, they're like, wow, this is an amazing person working for 3 years in one company or one university. Moving forward, 6 months would be like, are you serious? You're still working in this company for 6 months. Other perspective, I heard on this on radio, this was back in 2015-16, when I was in Melbourne. Heard it on the radio. The average marriage span overall in the world has reduced from 4.3 years to 3.9 years. This is all around the world. And obviously, moving forward, they predicted it would be even less. And one of the main reasons is because of social media. Because people go on Facebook back in those days, and they're like, oh my God, that couple is having more fun. Or this person is again single and she or he is having more fun. What am I doing in life? All this data has been bombarded and they're getting influenced. So moving forward, they will become anxious, and this is where now probably human stupidity kicks in. Same thing. Again, I'm sure you would have scrolled and people will be like, what are you doing in 9 to 5 kind of a job? You have got one life, live it, quit, be your own boss. Like, boss, do you know what it takes to be a boss? On the other side. And you be a boss, and they say, you're being a boss and stuck in your own company. What are you doing? You should be doing. So everyone is trying to sell something. Now the question is, how much do you want to take it, and how much do you want to keep it sane and balance it?
So when you talk about being a boss of your own company, startups today, as you said, you also would have used AI if you were starting a business today. AI can today help you with the business plan, analyze market, give you the data, and also theoretically launch your company easier than ever. But does that mean we'll see more successful entrepreneurs or simply more sophisticated failures?
Good question. Now, it would be those sophisticated failures will eventually lead them to become even more successful in something that they're doing. That is where experience comes in. Because when we say something is a failure or a success, end of the day, if you step back and analyze, it was all about balance. So somewhere they missed the balance. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I educate people on the subject of finance, they ask me, should I borrow more money from the bank, less money from the bank? Should I have more assets or less assets? Should we have more cash in the bank or less cash in the bank? Now it's like asking, is it good to have high blood pressure or low blood pressure? High sugar level or low sugar level? You should balance it. So when you start a startup or existing business, or you're expanding a business, and we have seen even $1 million companies for 20, 30 years, they went bankrupt simply because they couldn't manage something. They couldn't balance something. So with all this AI and data and other things that are provided, then eventually we might figure out, hey, you know what, I think we're driving too fast. If something happens, then we may not be able to survive and sustain. Like, I know a couple of them are like, GCC is coming, this is happening, that is happening, and we need to have offices in Dubai, and they've expanded now. And we know what's happening out there. So they're pumping in money from here just to keep the operations afloat. Would AI give us all this information last year? I don't think so. But however, the question is, what's your plan B and plan C, and how much can you survive?
Yeah.
Counterpart to what Chinmay sir says. So on a counterpart to what Chinmay sir said, it's also evolution and it's also sustenance. I'll just give you 2 examples. I think everyone now is quite fancy with iPhones and Samsung.
Yeah.
Correct? So back when we were kids, Nokia was the king. Do you all remember? But why did Nokia fail? Why did Nokia fail? Because it thought nobody can touch me. It didn't equalize with the market where Android came and the downfall of Nokia. And now everyone has a camera on their phone. They can take photos, they can take videos, they can do much more. But when we were kids, it was the generation of a reel. Kodak cameras. You remember, sir? And downfall of Kodak cameras. Again, same thought process. No one can touch me. So the same process you said. And also with what he said, the evolution and this whole mindset of having a fast life and, shorter span of generational marriages, shorter span of working in companies. But again, it's evolution. Now, if you see the new posts on social media, What does it say? Having peace of mind is the biggest wealth in the world. Having a good family life is the best thing in life. Not having all the health, not having all the wealth, but having all the health. It's all evolution. It takes a complete spin and comes back to what really life matters all about.
That's absolutely true. Umar sir, what you said before earlier, I think with that I remember a line that it seems like we are trading up privacy for our convenience. What would you say about that?
Okay, I give no offense to the young generation here. How many girls do we have in this room? Okay, back when I was in school, girls used to maintain a diary. They used to like to write a diary, a secret diary. And the worst thing they would like is a boy opening their bag, taking the diary and reading it out. Okay, now fast forward to today's day. What happens? Anything that happens, you see an Instagram story. Okay. So I think you got your answer here. We are trading
with that, I think we come to the end of this panel discussion. And if the panel is okay with it, the floor is open for questions now.
So, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. So my question is that I have this very big fear of going obsolete because the market is even more competitive now with the help of AI, and we have to constantly keep on doing something or the other to prove that our presence has a value to a company that we want to go for in a job. Now, personally, I would like to have my own startups because that has been my dream from day one. But all throughout college, I felt that it was necessary for me to build up the skills to actually be a valuable person first, so that if I fail, I have a safety net of being able to take my skills somewhere else in order to earn money. But I still feel that if, I'm not sure if I have the room to fail in this market. Like, should I go forward with the venture that I want to go forward with? And if I do, then how should I prepare in such a way that if I fail, then I can easily get a good paying job and still have time to work on something else. Thank you so much.
So the biggest thing I will tell you, a motivational line where I read back in time, just remember failure is always the stepping stone to success. And the second thing, always remember maybe whatever you impart over your time in your university life, in your college life, you have to have a balance of your book knowledge along with being street smart. So be confident. Don't think that you'll go obsolete. Chase your dreams, follow your hobbies, and it's one life, so live it.
Chinmay sir, please, what's your take on this?
Fail fast, fail often. Third thing is very critical, fail cheap. Because it's very subjective. Know your risk appetite. Do you think losing 50,000 and still you can continue the way it was tomorrow, or losing 50 lakhs and you can still continue? I don't know. So that is a subjective decision that you will have to take. So how much of risk, what is that you're going to put on the table, and then continue with it. I would highly recommend, if at all you are exploring and you have that entrepreneurial instinct and yes, I want to do a startup, to go ahead with it, simply because, see, now I was approached by someone on LinkedIn saying that you were at our business school, I saw your thing and I'm seeing your LinkedIn post. Is there an internship opportunity? I can help you with all this creatives and things like that. I'm like, yes, I need someone. And then I was like, okay, what do you think I will ask? Send me your work. And there was another person who was also reaching out saying, is there any internship after 1 o'clock? I'm pretty much free. Send me some work. And that person said, oh, no, I've done some courses, or I'm doing some courses. I don't have much work. But here she was actually doing something on her profile. And I'm like, obviously, if you go out there and say that I tried this startup, didn't work, and these are all the things that I learned eventually. These are all the things I tried and what worked, what didn't work. This is my takeaway. I'm sure an entrepreneur can relate to what you have gone through and would be more interested in hiring you and probably having you as an all-rounder rather than saying, oh, you know only coding, just sit here, do this particular thing. Unless until that is exactly what we want to do. At this age, I think most of you are in your early 20s. You'll have very less obligation And the chances of taking risk, traveling, and many other things. This is the right age, if you ask me. Again, knowing your risk appetite. See, as of now, I'm 41. I'm very, very cautious of saying yes. Today, I said yes to this, which means I said no to taking my daughter to a skating class. And that guilt will be there. Of course, I made it up by asking my mother to drop and things like that. So once you start getting into all this other obligations and responsibilities and other things, it becomes difficult. The choices will drastically reduce.
Naveen sir, as you have trained employees also from companies, I think your insight is very much needed here. And also with that, I would like to add a point. You have trained about, I think, more than 100,000 people. I would like to add, what is the right word would be a mental block that when it comes to AI in this also, what is a mental block that people have about AI?
I think I've been in this world of enabling entrepreneurs because I know what that journey means, right, as a serial entrepreneur. In fact, when she was asking that question, the recall for me was this was in US when I was invited to speak to the CEO's forum. And I was asking, what is that? It was very interesting outcome which was there, which is very relevant to the three pillars of the topics that we are talking about. Right? Before my speech, my talk, there was this gentleman, my name was, I think, Marvin, who came from Atlanta, and he was presenting. He is a turnaround specialist, okay? And he's helped turn around companies of different sizes, public limited companies to the startups and so on. So many of them, over 200 of them. So I was like, stunned about, the kind of involvement and engagements that he had. So I had one question for him. Then I had the privilege of listening to him there because as a speaker, I was to follow his talk, right? I asked one question. What got people to be in that situation, the companies, where they needed you? Meaning, turnaround was required, right? What was the need for it? And he said, many reasons. I said, no, I need one, the number one. He said, no, it's very hard for picking one. I said, I insisted, I need the first one, top one that you think, based on your experience. Then guess what he said? Adapting to change. Adapting to change. Nokia, by the way, was not a failure. Okay, very successful. So I was engaged to enable those employees who wanted to become entrepreneurs by Nokia to do. The thing is, they failed in adapting to the change. They were leaders. So why am I bringing this up? It is about our relationship with failure and what we understand as failure. Innovation journeys. Failure is a part and parcel of your journey. As he said, failure is a stepping stone to success, right? But the issue is this, coming to your question, in the academic world that we are all in, right? We are trained, the environment, the system is designed for passing. You fail 2 semesters, you know what happens, you're out, right? It affects even the reputation of the institution.
Yes.
Right? Designed that way, okay? So, but whereas we say failure is the stepping stone to success, but we are not learning how to handle failure. So when I was designing a program called A Little Extra, in fact, some of your students today afternoon are going to be part of that program. And Anila has also been one of my mentees, right? So she was excited that such opportunity is coming for the students. So here, what AI does not teach, that, how do you handle with the failures? This is the attitude and the ability and the mindset that you need to develop, right? So that is what you need to now start looking at investing time and effort. The complementing to the academic is designed for you to pass, but you are required to handle with failure. Entrepreneurial journey, failure is a part and parcel. So it's about handling that failures, what learning that you, and one of the key things, the secret is this. What we relate to failure is that we are a failure. That's the problem. It's the attempt that we did and the initiative that we took didn't work based on the expectation. That failed. Then you are empowered. Otherwise, no new Thomas Alva Edisons. Because he kept trying some 9,999 times. When somebody said, you failed 9,900, he only said, I only figured out 10,000 times you failed. He said, I only figured out 9,999 ways of how not to invent the electric bulb, right?
Wow.
It's the attitude. It is your ability. Now gone would be the days where you studied what you know. When somebody applies for internship, what he's going to ask is, show me the work that you've done. Don't tell me where you've studied. Gig economy, that's the change. It's the mindset which is required to change, with all the more with the AI. Startups, the earlier to do a startup needed amazing capacity and capabilities and the courage. Today with AI, launching a new startup is in seconds.
That is absolutely
That is where now the your strategy plays a big role. And is it sustainable is the other aspect. Are you innovative? If no innovation, you're out of the game. If there is no strategy, you might be playing a wrong game, right? And if it is not sustainable, why do it? Simple. Thank you.
I think the best takeaway would be from this was taking a step is success, and I think the part and parcel of this is the failure. I think that's the way to put it across, sir. With that, sir, so
session. My question is based on the first question that Hamza had asked you all, and I think all of you had said that a balance between man and machine is important. However, I think in the recent past, especially since 2021, we've seen a lot of unemployment happening in the smaller sectors of the world. For example, the sector of graphic design, the sector of tourism. There have been a lot of examples of AI replacing jobs and job opportunities. I've seen a example very close to me as well, where my sister just finished her graduation in her graphic design, but she wasn't able to find a job because there was a boom of AI during that same time. So, what do you think is the solution there? Because in the bigger industries, like you said, obviously AI cannot replace it, but there are smaller sectors that it will.
Wonderful, wonderful point. And that's the biggest concern which is there for the younger generation from the corporates in the US. The number of jobs which are going to be lost is unimaginable, right? And here in India, mainly the back office, so many jobs are dependent on that. So a lot of jobs are going to go. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be jobs. So it's about, again, seeing the trend, ability to adapt and catching on to the wave, riding the wave, if you have to call, right? So we were talking about the homes being built and purchases of homes. Who's the decision influencer or a decision maker? Here, a decision maker might be the husband, and the wife could be actually deciding, right? But the influencer that they were thinking and saying is, but if you really look at the strategy, the ChatGPT, the AI is going to be the influencer to the wife, right? And if we do not understand that and innovate based on that, there's the problem. And a lot of things, because I come from technology background and build tech companies, I understand how it's going to be implemented. So anything which can be process driven is all going to be replaced. Okay. People are going to lose jobs who are just not thinking and innovating than they are. The best part is in creative field it is coming, right? In the real estate, you needed an architect, you needed some of these specialities. Now you need to understand how to ask questions. That is all it requires. You ask, it will show you a beautiful, the layout, the paint, everything which can be done to the house in seconds. Okay, then again, coming back to the academic, the skills is the problem here. Okay, the mismatch of skills. Academic, we are all taught to answer. Okay, this question is there, you are supposed to answer. That's not going to be the future. It's the power of asking questions. Right? Again, the little extra why I had to design this is to enable that for our youth. Because if you don't know how to ask a question, even ChatGPTs and the Googles can't help you. Right? The skills, how do you use these AIs and develop these skills and ride the wave? Is the creativity, need for creativity go away? No. It is our ability to use those, tools, right tools, right? And the so-called AI was not available as a tool. Now it is available. Those who use it will write. Those who would not will have to struggle. It's not that they will also find their niche. And maybe that will become a specialty, right? No, I don't use AI like everybody does. And I will probably, they'll have to be creative there and innovate there also, right? So all three, sustainability, if you need, you have to innovate, and here you have to develop those skills, right? And it's not an option. Yes, and that should be your strategy.
And just adding up to what. Can you hear me? And just adding up to what Naveen sir said, keep your horizon open, perspectives. I think all of you are undergraduates now. You all are doing your BBM, you all are going to pass out soon. So what I noticed, like how you have your IIMs, you had an institution called IIPM. That's obsolete, and then they got delisted and then shut down. So most of the MBA people who took the walk of life into the MBA, from what backgrounds they were from? Take a guess. So majority were either engineers, either doctors who are trying to enhance the skill set. The classic example of your sister, you said, she's not getting placement because of being a graphic designer and AI boom. So keep your channels open. So what if and what of, like sir said, it changes, time changes. So these are all learnings from different walks of life. Keep your avenues open. Because in my personal experience, when I passed out of CMS, I had the specialization in the last year was either you had to choose finance, you had to choose marketing, you had to choose HR. Maybe you have much more options now. Time has changed.
Yeah,
11 options. So, the world, now you have the whole thing in front of you to choose. But the kind of a demotivation when I felt when the campus placement started was the majority of the companies that were coming were the finance kind of driven organizations. Like you had your Goldman Sachs, then you had the bigger players coming in. But I never let this team go. And I was one of the last batch to get placed from CMS. So it same goes here. The world is your playground. You have the best avenues available. So keep your horizon open and the best will happen.
My 2 cents on this, because what you asked and what she asked, I see a lot of similarity, because end of the day, it all comes down to adaptability. Whether we like it or not, world runs on perception, not reality. And I'm sure all of you have been told, study well, study well, study well, school, college, this. Life is settled. We have to accept that. No university in the world can future-proof you for the rest of your life. So let us get in terms with it. The next thing. Imagine you have to climb top of the mountain. That's your North Star. That's your goal. 3/4, 70-75% you have reached, and then you have hit a dead end, and then you're like, I can't climb in this particular route. For all practical purposes, I have to probably come back 50% down and take a different route. Which means now I have to go back to something that I started. It's like starting from scratch. Can you adapt? And this is the dilemma everyone is facing in many areas of their life. India won the World Cup. Do you think all the players who are celebrating, they don't have uncertainty? They're anxious. Will I again play another World Cup? Will I be back in the Indian team? Another batsman who's bowler who's playing? What next? Should I become a coach or should I become a commentator? And you know the options, how less it is. Or should I change a different career altogether? But here, if you can build a resilience around whatever it is, I will somehow figure out how to pull things back and keep moving forward. No, she said, I know she was very vulnerable. She said, I've got this fear. I'm sure even I could be in that situation if at all I was bombarded with all of this. Thankfully, I think ignorance is bliss. We had only option of engineering and medical. And I chose engineering and somehow enjoyed whatever I did. But of course, looking back, if we had so many choices, we spoil for choices. And then you take this, someone says, oh, you should have this. You take this, will say you have taken this. And then you're doing something and the world will say something. Now, how much importance will you give for others? One of my mentors used to say, the three words that has killed almost innovative and creative ideas in India is, log kya kahenge? You did graphic designing for 3 years and now you want to do this. You studied science, you want to become this. You did this, you want to become this. So how can you keep moving forward in spite of all of this? That is, again, it all comes down to how do you adapt and be resistant.
First of all, namaste and very good morning. That was really a pleasant discussion. I mean, that woke me up from my migraine sleep. So we come from Gen Z generation, right? So the most lucky generation. We wanted to go to high school, do our graduation, COVID came. Gen Z wants to marry, peak divorce rates. Gen Z wants to cook no cylinder. And you want to go for jobs AI is taking away. The one thing I caught up with or just grasped through your conversation was inculcating AI into our work and making it a colleague. And I think we have one misconception of comparing it with calculators and also the typewriters, which you said. The problem there was we were replacing objects. But here, human is trying to build someone who is so more efficient than him. And if you want to use the machine as your colleague, you need to know how it operates, right? So I here think a human from this generation, let's consider, who has come from both textbook knowledge and AI knowledge. He is trying to get into the Chakravyuha like Abhimanyu, but he don't know how to exit. Many are hyped so much with cloud. I mean, cloud openly says that if you are not continuing to use me, I can disclose your information anywhere. Right? Do you know what exactly to be done if cloud discloses the information? No. You only know to operate the basics. So if we are trying to study something and trying to compete with AI world, shouldn't it be inculcated in education, like how to do exact the AI? And we all know that assignments are given. Students use AI to do that. Teachers use AI to detect whether it is AI or not. Students in reverse use AI to make sure that teachers do not detect it is AI. So in that case, students be given 45 minutes of time to brainstorm what is there on the mind and then repolish it or use it AI to better it. So shouldn't it be working in that order? And unluckily, next generation will not even have the textbook part where they have this creative thinking. There's something known as cognitive debt, where you stop thinking. And there is one similarity between me and ChatGPT. We always hallucinate. We don't know what is right. This might be the condition. This might be. We don't know, but still go ahead. Right? So where do you think human can make it better that he can get out of the Chakravyuha and he'll not be the Abhimanyu? That's my age.
Okay. Glad that your migraine headache has reduced. Even though that was not a purpose, maybe you can be seated so that. Now, good observation. Let's take a step back. AI, artificial intelligence, and we are trying to compare it with human intelligence. What's common is intelligence. How have we been using intelligence all this while? Keeping aside, let's say AI, for the last couple of centuries. We have been using intelligence mainly to make decisions. Decisions so that we are safe. Decisions so that we can survive. Decisions where my physical pain, my physical labor can be reduced. If I have to move this table from here to there, or hundreds of tables from here to there, someone said, hey, here is a trolley, here is a forklift, and more of technology. So all this while intelligence and using technology was to reduce the physical pain and make it easy and effective. Today, AI is not doing only that, it is helping us with our mental burden or the decisions that we were making. So there were so many mundane things. Like, for example, when Ravindra sir was here, he was in banking for 35 years. And he said when he was in Canara Bank, I think hundreds of branches he was taking care of. Over 2 lakh crore of money was floating around in all of this, and he was responsible. And one of the things he did is he brought in 800 ATMs. He made a decision. Now, if we ask him how much time did it take for him to take that decision, because investing in 800 ATMs, he has to take a lot of approval and a lot of data needs to be done. This branch, give me how much time you're spending in giving this cash and check and things like that. Today, it can happen in second. So which means the burden I had back then of thinking data, all of it is becoming more and more easy and simple. Let's again take a step back. Let's look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He came up in 1952, but before that, our DVG Gundappa, he said very beautifully in Mankutimana, Anna Daturukinta Chinna Datura Tikshna, Chinna Daturukinta Ennugandalu, Manane Eludam Tikshnaka, Kinudu, Manavane Mankutima. So he started with Anna, which is safety. That is what in the Maslow's hierarchy he says. Where can I ensure that I am fed? I will survive. Next, we go into safety mode. Tomorrow, will I get the food? That is what everyone is kind of anxious, right? I do graphic design, I do this. If I become an entrepreneur, what will happen? If I start a startup and then if it fails, what happens? So you're all looking for safety. In this zone, AI will play a critical role. How much you use it, how much is too much, it's up to you. But after that, you get into the relationship mode. You get into kind of mental space mode. All I want is peace in life. And then you'll go for meaning of life. My observation personally with the work that I'm doing, and I'm very consciously saying yes and no to a lot of things. Today, I have got quite a few hours in a day for me to think, write, do mandala sketching, play with my daughter. So somewhere AI is helping me to become more human. Because I'm kind of content with regards to how much I want to earn and how much I want to work and things like that. I have kept that very clear. Because I know if I have to take, if I say yes to more of these opportunities, I have to go, I have to speak, I have to train, which means I'm trading more time for money. Now I'm seeing how AI can help me in automating most of this. This is in the 2 levels. But once you get into the relationship, mental space, things like that, then it is helping me to be more human, because artificial intelligence, human intelligence, the main difference I feel, personally I feel, is the feeling, the emotion, the experience, which I cannot feel, which I can feel. And when it comes to that, from that lens, we are the most complicated species on the planet. The importance I gave to certain things when I was in 20s, when I'm in 30s, when I'm 40s is entirely different. Back in 20s, it was like, I have to be a man. It means that I have to ride a bullet. Indian Army rides a bullet. Went and bought a couple of bullets. Now those bullets are still there. But I've bought a second-hand Activa. I have a drive around. It is more convenient. My values has changed in the 40s. So this is what I'm saying. Finally, I'd like to leave you with this. As he said, AI is a tool, and I'm sure all of us accept AI is a tool. A fool with a tool is still a fool. So we need to know how much to use it, how long to use it.
I loved the way you asked the question and narrated that whole thing, right? Starting from your migraine. One round of applause for him that where he showed that creativity. Now that you've asked and said, you also portrayed the whole question portrayed as if the Gen Z is the most confused generation, right? Okay. So now your strategy could be, how do you innovate and how do you bring sustainability? And now turning around, we all get to see only one side of the coin. We get to need to see the other side of the coin too, right? What did COVID do? And the Gen Z was the ones they could adapt to change, massive change, but very easy, very quick to adapt was the Gen Z. One round of applause for the Gen Z for that, right? Now, the kind of, be it education, again, Gen Z doesn't even want to marry, and now they're confused whether to, not about the confusion that you spoke. There's a bigger problem. There is a confusion of marrying a machine, right? And that's going to be the trend. Okay. So one of the innovation which happened in UK, and they've called it Mauli Kitchen. Okay. So this is a robotic kitchen which comes in, like literally you feed in what dish you want, and it will AI enabled now. So it will also understand your emotion, your tastes, and so on. So it will make the dish for you. So along with the wedding, they're expecting this to be their wedding gift now, right? The Molly kitchen. It's replacing, right? So it's all about the emotion. The same issues that you said is all on one side. Sounds confusing, but the biggest advantage with even the AI coming in, who is the easiest one, the ones that who has that agility to ride this wave is also Gen Z. You go to somebody experience now, like the way he would use at that 40, he revealed his age, so at 40, how he is using it versus how you are equipped, if you have a good purpose and when to use, how to use, you will probably use the AI much faster, better than he can, right? That is the advantage, that agility, that age that Gen Z is bringing. The choice is yours. Do you want to ride the wave and make AI as the tool which will help you ride the wave and make it fun? Fantastic. Else, it's the other way around. When I started my career, it happened in Malaysia. So I'm a vegetarian. There, I really struggled for survival for anything that moves and doesn't move, everything they eat. So I was like, boss, it was so difficult. But I was like, probably friends, family, all of that, the value really I learned there. Once I remember going back home and my mom asked, Cynthia, what do you want to eat? I turned to my mom and said, Mom, wouldn't you ask anything? What I did, where did I go? All of that, wouldn't you ask? She said, Adela nangarthagala. I won't know all of those. What you want to eat, I will cook and give you. I said, no, what is this like? And when I went to Malaysia and started my career, once, and those days to make a phone call was like, too expensive. And I spoke to my mom and she said, Tindya. ಗೊಳು ಅಂತ ಎರಡು ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲೂ ನೀರು ಹಂಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಇಳಿದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. The really like a river, it started rolling down. And then I realized this is the only thing nobody is asking me now, right? What work did I did? How did I do? All of this is what they were asking. Nobody asked me whether I ate. I really understood and even later chose to come back to India and do whatever and travel around the world. But this is my base. People it is ultimately the relationships, my friends, and we spend more time here with them, right? So this is something that AI can't help. It will probably even ask you, that, I know startups which is asking whether have you taken the medicine or not. All of that it is doing, right? Emotions are getting embedded. And that is what is the innovation happening. So there's nothing that AI can't do. So it is up to you. How do you want to use and what do you want to use it for? Want to close with that quote that in Malaysia, that time, I had to face one of the restaurant had dosa also. So I used to go there regularly. And the rice, the thing. But I used to face the wall and eat because the number of varieties of the non-veg was so much that there was only one vegetarian dal, okay? And we used to use the same spoon for all of them. So I didn't want to see that, right? I used to face the wall, but I didn't have a choice. But on that wall, there was one quote. And the quote said, beautiful quote, and that had a huge impact on me. Quote said, low minds complain, average mind shares experience, and great minds share ideas, right? And come with ideas. So, well, what I see, the potential in you, beautifully expressed, which creatively expressed, you could see which category it would land up into the low mind, because it's all about the complaints versus experience. But here is the opportunity for the Gen Z, because you are very equipped, agile. You've proven because of COVID that you can adapt and you have the ability to innovate, bring the change, right? And if you want to see the change, be the change. Mahatma Gandhi said that. So here is the opportunity for you, right? So great minds share ideas. So ride the wave with the AI, yeah, and you'll have a fun time. Thank you very much.
Because of time constraint, I think we will be taking one more question from the audience.
Good morning, sir. More than a question, I have a suggestion to take. I feel like I'm very spiritually matured, or maybe there could be a possibility that I've been to experiences of failure or not. And I must have seen life. And fairly, I feel like it was totally okay for Naveen sir to say that you won't get experiences and failures with the AI being there, right? But again, sir, I feel like AI is getting the work done, right? Eventually. And eventually, how many failures I face, especially Chinmay sir, I've been following finance, and I was someone who wanted to give the chartered finance exam, and I come from a specialization like IB. So I want to try out the all bubble thing so that once there's a shift in culture, I get into that thing and I wouldn't be anxious about the work or things that I'm learning. But eventually, if there are AI courses and AI things that eventually are gonna get my work done, why wouldn't I go for them and eventually not go through a process of giving a chartered exam or going through a series of professional learning and straight away jump to the AI courses? That is my question, sir.
Yeah. I think this is one of the things that, as a part of the strategy, I'm wanting to relate to it, right? And using the question that he brought out and the point that he beautifully brought out Abhimanyu as an example, right? So Abhimanyu, he knew how to enter the Chakrayuga, but he didn't learn how to exit. Maybe in this era, if AI was there, you would have quickly learned the other part and exited out, okay? That's the advantage of the AI here, in knowing when to use it. So the one of the issue that I'm seeing when I'm going to engineering colleges and educational institutions, the corporates, which is looking for people to engage, and have done programs for companies like Standard Chartered Bank and all of these for the leadership. So what I'm seeing is a trend of everybody just wanting to learn. So both sides are required, okay? So wanting to learn the AI, and if AI will do everything versus the domain knowledge here, this is something that if you develop, and many colleges are changing their courses, and they say they've dropped, unlike when you studied, the core branches itself has dropped. I was surprised. No mechanical engineering, no civil engineering. And you talk to them what branches, they say AI, ML, data analytics, and so these are the ones. So one of the companies as my client is Beyond Square they are into data consolidation in the financial services. For large companies, for very large companies, they have these group companies that you need to consolidate data, right? And it is required from two perspectives. One is from compliance perspective, and the other is from decision making. And the way they are using the AI is helping to accelerate that whole work. And large companies, like even multinational companies and the ones which has subsidiaries outside, so they're all using. And half their strength of their organization is chartered accountants. Interesting, right? The finance side is as important. And if AI is going to be used for saying what it needs to do and said, but you need to have that knowledge to know when to use, which one to use, and how to use it. Else, it's of no use, right? So that's where, if you want to, the secret of success here, and taking Abhimanyu here was related as a failure, and it could have been a success if he had also learned the skill of coming out. He would, as it is, he is a hero, but somewhere that he's dead, right? But he would have successfully exited out of the Chakravyuha only if he had known both skills of entering and exiting. So your thing is, again, you are becoming an Abhimanyu now. Your question is relating to that. Also figure out how to use your domain skills, and that is what is going to be required, right?
Sir,
Otherwise, one way.
Even though I am the one who has to fight the war, I am the one who's gonna go to the warfare. Even Pandavas had Dronacharya, right? Didn't they? And even though Abhimanyu could fight the war, he couldn't code, is what I'm trying to say. 2 years before, where I was coding to thinking that I can make a website very easily, 1 week before I was just prompting different prompts in order to make websites. So it's like every time I shift a bubble, I shift a course, I feel like, okay, I should be going through this and I'd be doing something that interests me and makes me happy a lot.
Yeah.
That's AI taking it over. Wouldn't it be easier for me to just go take a generative AI, agentic AI course and get the work done? Where my business, my end goal is the business. And why to think about going to different colleges or maybe doing different master courses?
So that's where the pace of the change itself is so accelerated now. So called as what is going to be your approach of coding by learning as an academic, or the course is going to be different. Okay, again, taking financial services as an example, the successful audit companies would be those earlier, when the new laws, the say GST law, whatever is there, those days GST was not even there. These thick books were there, published, and the auditors, very senior auditors, would have all of those, and they knew that knowledge, right? And they were the kings, literally. And with today's the change which is happening, morning one law, evening one law, and things would have changed, right? And if it has to go through the whole publication process and then they getting to read and all, it's all obsolete. Okay. The smartness is ability to adapt, and you can't make it easy for those very senior people, 60, 70 years old, and if they might still be practicing. But those are the ones would be successful if they know how to collaborate with the Gen Z. The Gen Zs on the other side are able to look at the change, and they know what is happening through the internets and so on. But they do not have the wisdom of that real cases. How do you handle people? How do you handle client? How do you manage those challenges which are there? So the ones which are very senior ones are going away. of finding it so difficult to manage. And the young ones are making too many mistakes. Okay. So those who know how to collaborate are the ones. Same way in your courses, if you're looking at courses as the way to learn and do, then it's the mindset issue. In the AI era, while you're doing, you're learning, while you're learning, you're doing, right? And don't wait for a curriculum to come for you to learn and do. At the pace at which it is changing because of the AI, generative AI today will be obsolete in the next 6 months. So in the technology space that we were in, every internet year was just 3 calendar months. And now with the AI generation, I don't know. It's not definitely going to be 3 months is one calendar year is just 3 months in an internet year. And in the AI era, it will be probably 3 weeks, right? So I think this is a good question that you brought out, because it's very required for everybody to change the way we see it and the way we understand the learning process, right? So that's the main point.
Just a famous quote, to add up to what Naveen sir said, because the core competency course actually gives you the basic knowledge, and AI is constant evolution. As he said, it may go obsolete in no time. So one very famous saying that I heard back in time, as you know, when I was a kid, is I complained because I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no legs. So AI is the missing shoes or the missing feet. So I think now you can enhance that. But the core competency you would get from the core courses as said by him. So go into the fast-paced thing. And like Chinmay sir said, you have to find a balance. Because the mic.
The major difference is going to be those who know those domain knowledge.
Exactly.
I was very concerned with this college when they said no civil engineering. With the amount of infrastructure growth which is happening, you need more civil engineers who know how to use AI.
Exactly.
Rather than learn only about AI and you don't know anything about civil engineering.
No base.
No base. So, and we'll have to import the Gen Z from outside, right? Which is a last opportunity for you. So make the best of your core finance or whatever. The fundamentals are not going to change. Yeah, like here the anatomy of a person is not going to change, but our software is going to change, right? With so much of Gen Z already going through the mobile, orthopedic surgeon friend of mine was saying, we are all going back in history. We are already becoming goon.
Yeah.
Right? He touched for a hunching. He touched here for a Gen Z guy. He's not able to stand. He's falling off. And this is already a pattern because of so much of usage of mobile. There's a problem, serious problems, right? Medical issues, all of these. So the fundamentals, anatomy of the human body is not changed, but the way we are adopting, it will change, right? So, and this is an evolution. So the civil engineering and construction line, my biggest concern that you need to have a strategy is to where would you find those engineers who are, not building in the computer in reality where humans can stay. That is your challenge. And do you have an answer to the challenge that he has? You need to have strategy, innovation, and sustainability. If it is not, you're out of the game. You're losing the opportunity. And this awareness is very required. And this today, the conference, when I saw this, right, the title and the topic so relevant, and probably one big round of applause to the organizing team. For at least for those people who are there present here, you will think differently and bring in sustainability, right? So it's so relevant and there's no answer to these. It's all about ability to figuring it out, right? So, and the field that he's in as an entrepreneur, now suddenly he is going to have a concern because now he is knowing that this is the change which is happening, and he has to build homes for Gen Z, right? And so what is going to happen? Because nobody is there to build, right? And machine is not going to just build it. And even if it builds, it's for people to stay, right?
My 2 cents on this subject. Because you said you're spiritually matured, and our Rumi said life is a fine balance of holding on and letting go. Now, obviously, at this particular point in time, you're asking, I did coding 2 years back, and now it's like almost obsolete. Now I feel like I've wasted 2 years of my life. Now, if I do this course, probably it will be outdated in the next 6 months or 1 year. So why should I do this? Why should I probably take something from the shelf and go ahead and do it? Valid question. In fact, even my daughter, who is just who'll be 5, she keeps asking me, why should I go to school? Why should I go to school? Why should I go to school? I'm like, okay, if you go to school, I can do my work. Anyway, I don't tell her. To understand the why. Understand the why behind the why. Let's imagine there are 3 candidates for applying for a civil engineering job. And he's going to interview them and he's going to ask, what's the height of this building? Let's say the first candidate, he has memorized the height of all the buildings here in and around Lal Bagh. And he says, oh, this is exactly 356 feet. Oh, great. That's the right answer. And the second one will say, ChatGPT, height of this. Oh, it's actually 355.5. Oh, great. You've got the right answer. You didn't even have to work for this. And imagine the third one will say, I don't know, but give me 5 minutes, I'll figure out. And he goes out there and then he will stand. He will measure the length of his shadow. He knows his height. Then he'll measure the length of this and he says, it is somewhere around 350 to 360. Whom will you hire? Because he understands the why. So that should be, according to me, the intention behind understanding something. What and how, it's already there. Now, as it said, knowing tomato is a fruit is knowledge. Knowing not to use it while doing fruit salad is common sense. And common sense is not very common, and that is where we understand.
Special day. Again, the reason that I also wanted, and this is good, one of the best things is adapting to spirituality is going to be a big savior. Religion and spirituality are two different, okay? So in the AI generation, if you know how to bring spirituality inside, then you're a winner. Okay, you already are equipped. It's all about, adapting, and the why beautifully said, right? So today is a very special day. It's a World International Math Day, right? So because the pi was invented today, right? And it's all about that question, the inquiry, and so on. So research. Again, yes, what is that team that you have put together? This is the team organized by SRDC, right? What is that? Student Research Development Cell. This is what is the requirement for where Gen Z need to build that skills exactly for that, right? So, and one of the triggers when Ronak reached out and asked, when I saw this, that was one of the trigger. I said, okay, I'll come. I will be speaking and sharing because you are the right people. If you are aware of it, then magic can be creative, right? Yeah. So today is a very special day, and when he brought this out, so I wanted to say a coincidence actually that it is very good that you're doing this. Okay.
Thank you so much, Anias, for removing time from your busy schedule and being here today and enlightening us with your experiences and your knowledge. Thank you so much, and special thanks to Dinesh sir and Sunita ma'am, Vaishnavi ma'am, Chaitra ma'am, and Jayashree ma'am, and to all the supporting teachers and all the faculty members. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We extend our sincerest thanks to our esteemed panelists and the moderator for sharing their valuable insights and experience.
It is a great honor to felicitate our esteemed panelists in recognition of the distinguished presence and valuable contribution to today's event.
We call Dr. Sunita E.R. to kindly come forward to felicitate Mr. Chinmay Anand, Mr. Muhammad Omar, and Mr. Naveen.
Hey, blanket.
Just have to say this, right? I recognized her, and once here, a very, very pleasant experience for me. You might be thinking, they're all teachers and so on, right? Your director, Dinesh, wanted me to conduct a program for the teachers of Jain Management School, right? So where the topic was creativity and innovation as inseparable twins, based on my book, Inseparable Twins. And when I got into the hall, so there was this hall seated by all the teachers, 33 of them being there, 32 of them are PhDs, and one of them in the process. And then only non-PhD there was me. Okay, I was on the stage, and now I was saying, oh, you're all teachers and you've all been used to being this side of the crowd, and the other side, you're seated on the other side. Can you be really students today? And probably they took it to heart, okay? And they became students of that kind. Now I know who's influenced them, okay? So they became students to that core. They forgot who they were and all that. The way they participated, I loved it. And I needed, for the first time in so many programs that I would have done international, I'm not an academician, right? So, but I needed 2 monitors to manage them, okay? So that's how they participated. They really, really were hungry to learn, and they became children, and the way they did, and she's one of them. And a big round of applause to these people. We're all hungry to learn, right? And it's important. That's what is going to make humans humans. Machine is anyway learning.
And in fact, all of you all should really, really be proud, because the faculty you have here is one of the best teachers. Indeed, life takes a full circle, it's evolution. A decade ago, I was like y'all, quite inquisitive, sitting there, listening to my teachers, and it's a proud moment. Many of them have taught me, mentored me, and you may be AI driven, but having that feeling to, stand in front of your teacher and taking so many insights, and it's a different feeling altogether. Maybe you would experience this in the future. So wish you all the best. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
We request all the dignitaries to take a seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, behind every research paper lies months and sometimes years of rigorous study, revision, and resilience. It is now time to recognize academic excellence.
We now proceed to the Best Paper Awards, celebrating outstanding research contributions that reflect originality, methodological strength, and relevance to sustainable innovation.
I now request Dr. Lakshman K to announce his results.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks a lot for all the participants for your patience listening, and it's time to celebrate. Okay, so we have been taken a very Herculean task to decide which paper is going to be best based on multiple parameters. Finally, the organizing committee, along with the discussion with the management and our director office, we have decided to honor first the outside participants, followed by the internal participants to motivate and inspire their research work. The third place goes to Rajiv Gandhi Memorial College of Engineering and Technology. The title of the paper, Real-Time Crop Disease Evidence and Weather Constraint from Scheduling Using Mobile Net V2 Based Vision and Multiple Voice Advisory. Okay, the participants are now here. Congratulations to Rajiv Gandhi Memorial College. The second place goes to SMRV College. The title of the paper, AI-driven environmental awareness and sustainable purchase intention, the monitoring role of green self-identity among urban consumers. Okay, I think the second participant who won, SMRV is there. Please do come. I call upon the guests. Please celebrate our winners. I call upon our conference convener, Sunita ma'am, also to join and motivate the participants. Okay, and we have the cash prize, 3,000 for the second place winners. And the first place goes to SCMS Symbiosis International University, Nagpur, Maharashtra. The title of the paper, The Personalization Paradox in AI, Mediated Consumer Experience Evidence from Amazon. Congratulations, and we should appreciate the scholars coming from Nagpur to Bangalore for the student conference. It makes a very great recognition to Jain University Center for Management Studies. And we will be providing 4K as a cash prize to the first place winners. Now it's time to honor the internal participants. Thanks a lot for Sunita ma'am for motivating our final year students and the second year and first year students, connecting their PCL towards the research papers and publication. The third place goes to Bhavesh Group. Okay, the title of the paper is Evaluating ECG Disclosure Quality of Small Cap Companies in India, Evidence from BRSR Framework. The team consists of Bhavesh Jain, Kanish Munat, Sankalp, and Anisha Jain. Congratulations to the team. I love him to call upon Baisha Kimem, the mentor of the research paper. The second place goes to Sumit Kumar, Lakshya, Parth, and team. The title Assessment of Daylight Substitution Potential of Solar Tubes in Indian School Buildings. The mentor of this particular paper, Raghavendra GS. And the first place goes to Adya Vision, Taras Kothari, Pavya Malhotra, and Ashi Agarwal. The title of the paper, Algorithmic Anticipation of Systematic Risk and Empirical Analysis of AI-driven Volatility Modeling and Macro Indicator Correction for Market Crash Predictions. The mentor of this particular paper, Raghavendra GS. Okay, thanks a lot. I like to now honor the organizing committee members who have been put the wonderful show from past 2 days, and it's been 3 months work. So we require the entire organizing student community and the faculty members who supported. Thanks a lot for making this event a wonderful show and a memorable for 2026. Okay, so we'll call upon first the student coordinators. Okay, Soumya Digiwal, the student convener and the president of SRDC, to collect the certificate from the guest. Then we call upon Mr. Prem Kumar Lunia, the student co-convener and vice president of SRDC. Followed by, we have the student coordinator, Mubashira. Mubashira. Congratulations, Mubashira. Mr. Eshraj D. Tanya R. Jain. Hamza Seth. Now we call upon the teacher coordinator, Varalakshmi ma'am, to come on the stage to collect a certificate. Varalakshmi ma'am. Next, I call upon Supriya ma'am for supporting for the entire conference in terms of editorial board, organizing committee, and next I call upon Supriya ma'am. The next important responsibility which was been taken by Priya Makija ma'am in editorial board, followed by Vaishaki ma'am. Priya Makija ma'am. Vaishaki Devnath. Sarita SR. Shilpa Sandhu ma'am. Shilpa ma'am. Dr. Raki, Dr. Raki ma'am, Dr. Midun, Miss Saida Shifa, the main program highlight, I want to call upon the co-conveners and the conveners, the leader of the entire show. Let's we all give a big applause to Dr. Sunita VK, the convener of SRDC, for making this program a huge success. Sunita VK now. Winner of the series goes to Sunita VK ma'am. And for all the support, blessing, very morning wishes from Sunita ma'am. We have come across with two co-conveners. One is Vaishnavi and Dr. Lakshman K. Now they will be talking.
Would have been to the educational space. Otherwise, however, one announcement I would like to make. You know, one of the article. The members who came and received here certificates, the part of the organizing team, right? So each one of them are going to get a pass for a little extra for Young Stars program for the next. I know today it is happening, but then you're all busy with this. So the next one, the members who were called out, they're going to get a pass for that scholarship for that program. All right. And as part of the centenary celebration of Sri Satya Sai Center for Centenary Celebration, so teachers, enabling teachers is very important, and a little extra for extraordinary results, exclusively organized for 100 teachers around the country is happening. And the members who are now part of that, I know they were all part of the creativity and innovation as inseparable twins. Varalakshmi, she was part of it and so on. So Dinesh, I mean, Lakshman, were you also part of that? Yeah. Oh wow, this is like a fantastic homecoming, right? So for those teachers who are a part of this team of yours, they will get the pass for a little extra for extraordinary results certificate program. Very happy for the title and the objective as the students, the research and development which is required, right? So very apt. And that is what you need to develop and make AI as your tool, right? Hence for that little extras that you all demonstrated qualifies for you to take it to next levels. Yeah, thank you. Very smart. So that's why I thought, okay, knowledge needs to be shared, but the homes has to be given.
So as many of my teachers and the faculties here had says, it will be
Now he has to be creative also.
it will be a privilege, ma'am. It will be a privilege, ma'am, to guide you to get your dream home. So at Prestige, we would be honored to have you as the Prestige family. So you can always reach out to us and we will take it forward, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh. We request everyone to settle. Distinguished guests and delegates, over these 2 days, we are not merely discussed sustainable innovation, we have collectively advanced it.
We arrived as scholars, speakers, industry experts, and participants.
We live as collaborators in a shared mission towards resilient future powered by academia, industry, and AI.
As we approach the formal conclusion of this 2-day international conference, gratitude becomes our most important expression.
I invite Ms. Mubashira, a dedicated member of the Student Research and Development Cell at Center for Management Studies, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Principal officers, associate head, HODs, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, delegates, and my dear participants. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee for this remarkable Student International Conference on AI and the New World Order, Innovation, Sustainability, and Strategy in a Disrupted Global Landscape. Over the past 2 days, we have witnessed an engaging exchange of ideas, perspectives, and innovations that have enriched our understanding and inspired our future collaboration. In this moment of gratitude, it is my privilege to acknowledge and express our sincere appreciation to the distinguished leaders whose guidance and support continue to strengthen the vision of our institution. We, the team SRDC, the Student Research and Development Cell, and the organizing committee of the Student International Conference, extend our heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Chandraj Rochan, Jain deemed to be University, whose visionary leadership continues to shape the university's path of excellence and innovation. A special acknowledgement goes to Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, in charge Vice Chancellor and Registrar, Jain deemed to be University, for his steadfast guidance and dedicated service to this institution. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Dinesh Neelkant, Pro Vice Chancellor, Jain deemed to be University, and Director, Center for Management Studies, for his continued support for this conference. A special note of appreciation to all the principal officers of the university for their continued commitment to academic distinction and institutional growth. We would like to extend our special acknowledgement to our associate head, HODs, program coordinators, and the PCM mentors of the final year BBA for their constant guidance, encouragement, and support in making this conference possible. We thank our keynote speakers, plenary address, and paper presenters who shared their valuable research and insights, making this academic journey both meaningful and memorable. We extend a heartfelt appreciation to our session chairs, Anita ma'am, Shakti sir, Keshav sir, Sachin sir, and Raghvendra sir, for their valuable guidance in steering the session. We extend our gratitude to Umesh sir for his contribution to this event. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Nishant sir, Jayashri ma'am, Chaitra ma'am, Tyagraj sir, Kiran sir, Vasant sir, and Shifa ma'am, along with our dedicated supporting staff, whose continuous guidance, coordination, and assistance played a vital role in making this conference possible. Also, our beloved teachers, Infancy ma'am and Danya ma'am, for their constant support. We take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this conference a success. A heartfelt thanks go to the team Blues, the organizing committee, the technical team, the RMC, and the Toastmasters teams for their dedication, coordination, commitment in ensuring the session of conference was conducted smoothly and effectively. A special note of gratitude goes to our event management team for their meticulous planning, seamless coordination, and unwavering support throughout the conference. We would also like to extend a sincere thanks to the Anita Foundation for their valuable support and contribution toward making this conference possible. Our gratitude also goes to our partners and institutional collaborators for their constant support and trust. Finally, to all the delegates and participants, your active engagement, thoughtful questions, and enthusiasm have made this conference a vibrant platform for global learning and connection. As we conclude, let us carry forward the spirit of collaboration and shared purpose that has brought us together. May the idea exchange here continue to inspire research, partnership, and innovation beyond this conference. Thank you all once again, and we look forward to meeting you at our next international conference.
Thank you, Mubashira, for those heartfelt words.
With our hearts full of gratitude, I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Dravid Utkal Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे आहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे Jaya 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 He.
We request everyone to please seat. Once again, on behalf of the Student Organizing Committee, we thank you all for your presence, participation, and intellectual contribution.
I request all the students to please scan the QR code for attendance. Please note that the QR code can only be active for 5 minutes. Please note that the QR code will only be active for 5 minutes. What was that? You got it.